In addition to the updates that you received tonight, I want to give you a few updates on some other projects that we're working on. The first is a downtown facade grant that the Economic Development Commission approved. We were able to have fortunate to receive a state grant earlier this year that kind of gave us a trial run for what to expect in terms of facade improvements. And so we have one example of a business owner that benefited from that. This is Northwest Lifestyles on Jackson. This is before the facade improvements, and then this is after. So they were able to get some new paint and new awnings to help look a little nicer. And so imagining this on several of the other storefronts in downtown, this would create a nice facelift for downtown business and property owners. So there was $40,000 awarded from the Economic Development Commission in terms of a grant. That's two-thirds of which must be matched by the developer with no project exceeding $40,000. So they're eligible to receive up to $10,000 on a project, depending on how many applications we get. It is okay. The next update is on another crucial east-west link in our bicycle and pedestrian route that we talked about earlier. There's one that's being proposed for the VA site. This is another one on Rowe Street. So here's Northeast Stevens, Winchester and Rowe. This is the crosswalk right at Diamond Lake. So Diamond Lake Boulevard's just below the slide there. Here's Dairy Queen as you head up the hill on Stevens. Right now, and this is the path that goes to Gaddis Park. This is the path that goes to Pine Street on downtown. Right now, there's an undercrossing under the railroad that links up to both Rowe Street and another path to Diamond Lake Boulevard. Right now, this undercrossing is all unpaved. In fact, you can see a little difference in the coloration. This is all paved through here. And once you hit down here, then it's all gravel, and when it rains, it's not pleasant. So we've been working with the railroad, Corp, Central Oregon Pacific Railroad, or Corp as they're known, on trying to get some response of whether or not we can pursue doing some improvements to this undercrossing. We didn't really get much of a response, but we've been working with them on another matter that they're currently dealing with. And so we forwarded them this shot as well as a couple of photos. This is looking east from the riverside of this is the railroad up here, and this is the undercrossing itself. So this is looking from the riverside of the trail. And as you can see, it's all gravel and basically unimproved. This is from the other side, and unfortunately the shadows don't make this as clear as it could be. This is looking from the east side, looking west through the tunnel, and again, it's unimproved. Emergency vehicles on occasion will use this when there's a train and they can't get to the other side of the tracks, but it's on a very limited basis. And so we desired to have this paved, not only for that, but also for pedestrians and bicyclists to make it safer. This is a storm drain at the right under the undercrossing itself, and as you can see, it gets rocks stuck in it, and it doesn't provide very good drainage for the path. So we sent these 4 photos on to Corp with this other matter that we were dealing with, and they responded and granted the city permission to make improvements, and so that's great news for that link. The design and actual construction will likely will take place once we get funds approved for it, which likely won't happen until next budget, which will be the next fiscal year, so sometime after July.
How wide is that? I've walked many times, but
I don't know the exact measurements. A truck can get under it. A maintenance truck can get through it. So, yeah, I wouldn't say it's much bigger than 20. It's pretty narrow. But anyway, a car can get through it one way.
Car can't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Another update, we want to just give you a heads up on, we provided you a memo from Nikki Messenger, City Public Works Director, on some funds that we received from the state, approximately $900,000 for improvements to the intersection at Edenbauer and Aviation. Now, currently, that's an intersection that's slated to be signalized, as well as the off-ramps right there on the east side of the...
Edenbauer and Aviation are currently signalized.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's true. So improvements to the signals, and then to add a new one to the off-ramps at the freeway. And so one of the alternatives that we looked at, rather than adding another signal so that you'd have one at Aviation, one at the northbound off-ramp, one at the southbound off-ramp on the other side of the interchange, you'd have 3 signals there right in a row. And if you add Stevens, then that's another problem. So one of the possibilities is, again, here's the freeway right here. This is Edenbauer. Here's the northbound off-ramp. And then here's Edenbauer and Aviation, which is currently signaled. One of the design concepts is to put a roundabout here so that it eliminates the signal at Aviation as well as the proposed signal at the northbound off-ramp. So this would provide much longer term use for these 2 intersections. It would take some getting used to having a roundabout, especially 2-lane roundabout. It takes some education perhaps, but for the long-term traffic performance, the numbers show that this would be a favorable alternative. And with the funding that was received, this is closer to a reality. So.
I see SWAC approved it.
That's correct. The Southwest Area Commission on Transportation did recommend approval, so it'll go to the Oregon Transportation Commission for final approval. So we were the only applicant for those funds, so we met the criteria, and because we're the only applicant, it came back favorable. So we'll see how that turns out.